Every year, hundreds of millions of highlighter pens are produced across the globe, showing just how deeply these colorful tools have embedded themselves into our daily lives. Whether you are a student highlighting key points in textbooks, an office worker marking important sections in documents, or simply someone who enjoys adding bright touches to handwritten notes, the highlighter has become an indispensable companion. But have you ever stopped to wonder how these vibrant tools are actually made? It all begins with a very specific choice of material, a durable plastic known as polypropylene. This isn't a random selection. It's chosen because it is light, resistant to wear, and tough enough to withstand daily use without cracking. In the factory, small polypropylene pellets are first cleaned to remove any dust or contaminants, then fed into large machines where they are heated to incredibly high temperatures until they melt into a thick liquid. This molten plastic is then injected with precision into steel molds, each one shaped to form the barrels and caps of the pens. The molds are cooled rapidly to lock in the shape, after which the freshly formed parts are released and sent down the production line. Alongside this, the heart of the highlighter, the ink reservoir, is prepared. Unlike an ordinary sponge, the reservoir is made from a specially engineered porous material designed to hold a large amount of ink while releasing it steadily to the nib. The reservoir is cut to exact lengths, ensuring that every highlighter carries just the right amount of ink for extended use. Speaking of ink, it is far more than just colored water. Highlighter ink is a carefully balanced formula made from fluorescent dyes that produce the bright, almost glowing effect we all recognize, water to keep it fluid, and a solvent such as glycol to ensure the ink flows consistently to the tip. These ingredients are measured precisely and poured into massive stainless steel mixing tanks, where they are blended by automated stirrers until the color is perfectly even. The mixture is then filtered through ultrafine screens to remove even the tiniest particles that could clog the nib. Once prepared, the ink is drawn into automated filling systems that saturate each reservoir evenly. The nib itself is made from a dense, felt-like fiber that quickly absorbs ink from the reservoir and transfers it to paper in smooth, bold strokes. This nib is inserted with perfect alignment into the barrel by robotic machinery, ensuring a secure fit and seamless ink flow. The assembly process is almost hypnotic to watch barrels spinning, nibs pressing into place, caps snapping on with a crisp click, all done in flawless synchronization. Factories that produce triangular highlighters face an even more precise challenge, as they must align multiple reservoirs within one body without the colors bleeding into each other. Once assembled, each pen undergoes quality checks, and in many facilities, this includes a brief test mark to ensure the ink flows before the product is packaged. Highlighters have evolved over the decades with sleeker designs, a wider range of colors, and nibs of various shapes for different writing needs. Yet their role remains unchanged, to make important information stand out clearly and vividly. While students are their most obvious fans, countless professionals from engineers and lawyers to teachers rely on them every single day. Now let's leave the world of colorful ink and step into the warm, fragrant realm of apple pie production, where the same kind of precision and care creates something very different but just as satisfying. Apple pie, beloved for its flaky crust and sweet spiced filling, begins its journey far from the factory floor in orchards where trees grow in cool, crisp climates. Washington State alone produces roughly 60% of the apples in the United States, and its orchards are renowned for producing fruit that's perfect for baking. Harvest season is carefully timed to ensure each apple has developed the right balance of sweetness and firmness. In smaller orchards, apples are still picked by hand, with workers gently twisting each one from the branch to avoid bruising. In larger commercial orchards, advanced harvesting machines are used, designed to shake apples from the tree with the same gentle motion as a human hand. Once harvested, the apples are placed in padded bins or crates to protect them during transportation. To the factory at the production facility, the apples begin their transformation into pies. Trucks unload them onto conveyor belts for their first round of inspection, where trained workers and advanced scanning systems sort them based on size, color, and quality. Those that pass inspection take a refreshing water bath to wash away any dirt and help maintain their crispness. This is followed by air drying before the peeling process begins. Industrial apple peelers work with incredible speed and precision, gripping each apple, rotating it rapidly, and removing the peel in seconds. Many of these machines also core and slice the apples in a single operation, ensuring uniform thickness, a crucial detail for even baking, and consistent texture in the finished pies. Once sliced, the apples move into massive rotating drums, where they are coated in a mixture of sugar and spices like cinnamon and nutmeg. Steam is applied to soften the apples slightly while locking in flavor, creating a filling that's juicy but not watery. Meanwhile, another part of the factory focuses on the crust. Cold butter or shortening is blended with flour, salt, and water in giant mixers, keeping the dough chilled to ensure flakiness after baking. The dough is then rolled out by precision machinery to the exact thickness required, with adjustments measured down to fractions of a millimeter. Large circular cutters stamp out crust bases for the pies, and the excess dough is collected and reused for decorative lattice tops or smaller pastries. The assembly line brings together crust and filling with remarkable efficiency. Pie pans receive their bottom crusts. Mechanical dispensers add just the right amount of apple filling. Too much, and the pie will overflow. Too little, and it will feel lacking. If the pie has a top crust, it is placed slightly larger than the base so the edges can be crimped together, sealing the filling inside. Some pies are decorated with cutouts or lattice strips, while others are brushed with an egg wash for a golden, glossy finish after baking. Baking itself takes place in enormous tunnel ovens where pies travel slowly through zones of carefully controlled heat, emerging perfectly browned and bubbling. Once baked, they are cooled quickly to preserve freshness, then either packaged for immediate sale or frozen for distribution. Factories also produce creative variations like pocket pies, handheld treats sealed completely around the filling end. Apple blossom pies, which are smaller and have more caramelized crust edges for an extra burst of flavor. Advanced weighing systems ensure that every single pie, no matter its style, contains the right proportion of filling and crust for a consistent taste and texture. Whether it's the simple pleasure of biting into a warm slice of apple pie or the satisfaction of gliding a brightly colored highlighter across a page, both of these everyday items show how industrial production can combine efficiency with craftsmanship to deliver something we love and use without even thinking about the intricate processes that brought them to life. From the moment I stepped inside the Cadbury Dairy Milk Factory, I felt like I had entered a secret chocolate wonderland, a place where science, tradition, and indulgence meet. This isn't just about producing a sweet treat. It's about crafting a piece of happiness wrapped in that familiar purple packaging. They're not just making chocolate here, they're packaging memories, celebrations, and little pick-me-ups for millions of people around the world. Every shiny bar on the shelves has a story, and today, you and I get to peek behind the curtain and see it unfold. Honestly, it took me ages to get clearance to film here, and now that I'm finally inside, I'm not leaving without soaking up every detail. It all starts with cocoa beans, the very soul of chocolate. These pods, which grow on cocoa trees, don't smell or taste anything like the chocolate we know and love at first. In fact, freshly harvested cocoa beans have a rather earthy, almost fruity aroma. The magic only happens after fermentation, drying, roasting, and grinding. Cadbury sources most of its cocoa from West Africa, especially from the lush farmlands of Ivory Coast and Ghana. These regions offer the perfect combination of warm temperatures, humidity, and rainfall, allowing cocoa trees to thrive. generations of farmers have mastered the art of cultivating beans with rich flavor and the right fat content, making them ideal for creamy, melty mouth chocolate. But cocoa isn't the only star in dairy milk. The milk comes from healthy, well-fed cows that graze in green pastures. Modern dairy farms here are high-tech, yet surprisingly comfortable for the animals. Automated milking systems use gentle suction and are designed to keep cows stress-free. While the machines work, cows can roam, feed, or simply relax. The collected milk is cooled immediately and stored in pristine tanks to preserve its natural sweetness until it reaches the factory. Then there's sugar, another vital ingredient. Cadbury blends sugar from both sugarcane and sugar beet. Sugarcane, with its subtle caramel notes, mostly comes from tropical climates, while sugar beet, grown in cooler regions, brings a slightly earthy tone. Blending the two creates a balanced sweetness that's neither overpowering nor bland. The proportions vary depending on sourcing, cost, and seasonal availability, but the result is always the same: smooth, consistent sweetness in every bite. Inside the processing area, the cocoa liquor, sugar, and milk powder are mixed in massive stainless steel vats. Imagine a warm, velvety paste forming as the ingredients blend together. This mixture is then refined to break down sugar and cocoa particles into microscopic sizes, giving the chocolate its signature smoothness. But the magic really happens in the conking process hours and hours of gentle heating and stirring. This step develops the chocolate's flavor, melts away any remaining sugar crystals, and gives it that luxurious mouthfeel. Once the chocolate reaches perfection, it's piped into hoppers that feed molding machines. Here, precision is everything. The liquid chocolate flows into bar-shaped molds, which are then vibrated to remove any air bubbles. The molds travel along a cooling tunnel where the chocolate solidifies into that familiar snap when you break a piece. Even after cooling, every bar is inspected to ensure perfect alignment, shine, and texture. Cadbury prides itself on consistency, which is why you'll never see a bar that's dull or misshapen. From Australia's unique local flavor twists to the classic recipes sold across Europe, dairy milk has become a universal comfort food. Whether it's shared at birthday parties, tucked into a lunchbox, or savored alone on a quiet evening, it's more than chocolate tits, a small joy that connects people across continents. Now, let's shift from sweet indulgence to savory convenience, the world of ready meals. Step into one of these colossal factories and you'll see why it feels like a small city. Conveyor belts stretch for hundreds of feet, machines hum in perfect rhythm, and robotic arms move with surgical precision. Everything starts with rice measured to the gram for consistency. The rice is rinsed, soaked, and then cooked with exact timing so that every grain is tender but not mushy. Automated pots flip to drain water, then refill with fresh water for steaming. Sealed lids lock in the heat, ensuring even cooking without drying out the grains. Once the rice is ready, it's portioned into trays. Here's where variety comes in: crispy chicken pieces for one meal, tender vegetables, and gravy for another. The sauces are poured in rich, glossy streams, coating every bite. Before sealing, these trays go through blast freezers, locking in freshness, flavor, and nutrients. Freezing also extends shelf life without relying on heavy preservatives. Then comes sealing airtight, spotless, and completely automated. Finally, labels are applied with brand names, ingredient lists, and expiration dates before the meals are packed into boxes and sent out to stores. In another section of the plant, fresh salad trays are assembled. Crisp lettuce, colorful peppers, grilled chicken slices, and hard-boiled eggs are portioned with care. Every component is kept separate to maintain freshness until you open the package. Pasta salads get their own treatment, perfectly portioned. Spaghetti topped with vibrant tomato sauce made from freshly harvested, sun-ripened tomatoes. Speaking of tomatoes, let's peek into ketchup production. It's not as simple as mashing tomatoes and adding sugar. It's an art. Once picked, tomatoes are inspected for ripeness and quality. Any bruised or underripe ones are discarded. They're washed twice in large drums, the water turning cloudy with the dirt from the fields. Then, they're blanched in steam boilers. This loosens the skins and kills any harmful microbes. Pressurized water jets peel the skins without damaging the flesh, and drum rollers complete the process. Next, the peeled tomatoes are pureed into a smooth consistency preserved under carefully controlled temperatures and acidity levels. Only after the puree passes quality tests is it blended with spices, vinegar, and secret seasonings to develop that iconic ketchup flavor. The thick, glossy sauce is then pumped into bottles with pinpoint accuracy. Labels are added, and the bottles are boxed for shipment. Whether it's Heinz or another brand, the process ensures every squeeze tastes just right. And now, let's not forget another giant in the food industry: McDonald's fries. They start with specific potato varieties that have the right starch content for crispness and flavor. After peeling and cutting, the potatoes are blanched to lock in sugars and prevent discoloration. Then they're partially fried, frozen, and shipped to restaurants where they're cooked to golden perfection. That's how they achieve fries that are crisp on the outside, fluffy inside, and consistent worldwide. We could go on about beverages like Sprite Caf, EN-free, citrusy, and endlessly refreshing, but instead, let's end on something indulgent. Imagine layers of rich chocolate and airy whipped cream stacked together into a dessert that melts in your mouth. Each spoonful is a burst of sweetness, creaminess, and pure satisfaction. Whether you've tried it or not, one look and you'd want to. That's the beauty of modern food production. It's not just about making things in bulk. It's about preserving flavor, ensuring safety, and delivering the same joy to millions of people. Whether it's a bar of chocolate, a ready meal, a fresh salad, a bottle of ketchup, or a cone of fries. And with every product we unwrap, there's an entire world of farmers, machines, and meticulous processes working quietly behind the scenes to make it possible.